Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the new Brit workshop and this workshop notes video number 21. And this is the post Harrogate show special because I'm going to be mentioning that at the end. I got quite a few things I want to cover. Winter time's coming. I want to talk about glue and glue temperatures. I want to talk about how to get those festal clamps through tops which are thicker than 20 millimeters. Someone's asked me about that recently. The Harrogate show, as I've just said, and also one or two other little bits and pieces. So here we go. Now, a gentleman wrote to me the other day, and he has a workbench and he's used 25 millimeter thick MDF for his workbench. This bit of MDF I've got here is actually 26 millimeters thick because it's got some veneer on either side, but let's say it represents his bench. And his problem is that he's got these festal clamps, or ones very similar to it. Festal make them, Axminster make them, and I think Bessie make them. In fact, probably Bessie make the festal ones. Anyway, these clamps, he finds, can't go through a 20 millimeter hole in his bench because they just cannot get round the corner. However, there is something you can do. This other hole up here, I've doctored it. You just watch this. Straight in, no problem at all. And all I've done is I've put a chamfer underneath there. So I've used the chamfer tool and I've left almost 20 millimeters of the hole untouched, and that allows these clamps to go through. And despite that chamfer, you could still use all of your normal bench dogs, as long as they're path dogs, of course. Now the next thing I want to mention is the temperatures at which you can use your wood glue. Now wintertime is here in the UK, and already my workshop goes down to probably 4 or 5 degrees overnight. And it takes me a little while to get it warmed up again. And depending what sort of glues you've got, generally speaking, all the glues will have it marked on the label what temperature range they can work at. But I thought I'd just give you an idea of the sort of ranges of the glues that I happen to have. I use a lot of Titebond 2, and Titebond 2 is one of the warmer glues, or rather the glues that needs the warmth. That needs to be used above about 12.5 degrees centigrade. Most of the glues seem to have a maximum storage temperature of about 24 degrees centigrade as well. Now, our last summer, it certainly got up to 24 in my workshop, but it seems to be perfectly okay to me. I think that maximum temperature is all about glue drying out by allowing moisture to escape through the cap. So keep the caps on tight. So minimum temperature for Titebond 2 is about 12.5, 13 degrees centigrade. Titebond 3, which I haven't got, will go down quite a bit lower, down to about 7 degrees centigrade. So that's a better glue if you have to work in lower temperatures. I've got some Gorilla waterproof PVA, and that's good down to 13 degrees. If you use the Gorilla glue that I actually hate getting it on my fingers, it's the stuff that foams up. It needs a bit of moisture to make it work and so on. It is absolutely brilliant glue. This is their waterproof glue, and this goes down to about 4 degrees, but the warmer it is, the quicker it will go off. And that's true of all these glues. A little bit of warmth, they go off more quickly. When I'm working in a cold workshop and I'm doing some gluing, I move the piece after it's been glued close to one of my radiators. Now, do you remember recently I showed you how to make a very simple bench dog removal tool? Well, I haven't got either of them left now. I gave them both away at the Harrogate show, more of that later. You could also make something very similar as a domino removal tool. Now, just supposing you're doing a dry fit and you've forgotten to use those special dominoes that you've sanded off slightly so that they go in and out easily, and you've put a full-size domino in and you can't get it out, well, you can use this tool. It's made in exactly the same way as I was making those dog removal tools. There's a domino slot there of the appropriate size for the dominoes that you're using, and then you split it up here. You can bling it up by sanding it off and doing whatever you like. And just here, I've got a domino which will pretend it's being difficult to get out. You just put the tool on there, squeeze tight, and then, but just grab it and away you go. So it gives you something to grab. And often with dominoes, when they're in and you're trying to get them out, there just isn't enough of the domino left there to grip. I can just do it with this one because it's into MDF. But you know what I mean. It can be really difficult. So you put your tool over there and grab and then pull. Simple as that. Domino removal tool. Now, I think most people in the UK probably are aware that Axminster have now started producing a catalogue again. And this has gone down really well because, you know, if you're browsing through a catalogue, you actually find things, I think, more quickly than you do than looking on a website, unless you're just going for one particular thing. But if you flick through here, you might look at planes and you might sort of flick around a couple of pages and then see a little accessory that you hadn't thought of, that you wouldn't have looked for on the internet, and lo and behold, it's presented to you on the same page as the tool itself. So that's quite useful. And if you turn to page 124 onwards, 125, I think 126 maybe as well, you'll find a whole bunch of path products. Now, there are actually 18 path products that Axminster make and sell, and there's a further 2 that they stock, which are the Veritas path dogs from Lee Valley. So it's a total of 20 path products that Axminster are selling at the moment, and they're available worldwide, as I'm sure you know. Now, I've got to tell you about the Harrogate show. Now, I've not actually been to a proper woodworking show as a demonstrator before, but Axminster asked me if I'd go, and I went there for 3 days, and I had a whale of a time. Now, first and foremost, I would like to thank all of those absolutely wonderful people who came up to me at the show and said such very nice things. And it was very humbling for me. And I'm really grateful because, you know, it's things like that, it's nice feedback like that that actually make it all worth it. I keep telling people if I push trolleys at my local supermarket, I'll make far more money than I do making videos. But it just doesn't matter. I love doing it, and I like to try and help people, as I'm sure you know. And there were 2 guys who allowed me to do a little quick video, and here's a snatch of 2 guys at the show. You're live on camera, you're going to be in a video. Go on, say that again.
I've built my first ever workbench using the Path Guide System Mark 1, and it's absolutely fantastic. Absolute precision.
Are you happy to say your name on video?
I'm very happy. My name's Kevin Miller.
Okay, I'm Ian Morton. Peter inspired me with his online videos to make the mobile workbench. It's such a great idea, and I've done it to the same height as my saw bench and other things, so that the workshop has become much more usable. And I used the Path Guide system to create the bench top, found it really easy, and it's opened up whole new ways of doing things and holding things. I really like it.
Well, I was telling you that I'm almost speechless when these guys came up to me and said this. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much indeed. Let me just tell you more about the show. The show had all sorts of exhibitors there. I can't give you a list, but all the famous names here: Festool, Bosch, Bessie, Axminster, of course, and loads of other people were there. And it was really well attended over 3 days, the Friday, Saturday and Sunday that we've just had here in England. And it was at this show that Axminster were offering for sale for the very first time the Mark II Path Guide system. Incidentally, that sold out on the morning of the 2nd day. So for all those people who came after that, I'm terribly sorry. But you were able to place an advance order there and then. And those advance orders are being fulfilled right now as I make this video. Now, I'm sure you all realise that I've got a special relationship with Axminster because they make and sell the majority of my path products. And you have to understand that what I'm saying is absolutely sincere. It's not coloured by any of that business side of things at all. When I went up to the show, I was very, very nervous. I'd never done this sort of thing before, and I was really worried. Axminster looked after me absolutely brilliantly, and I just can't tell you how kind and thoughtful all of the boys and girls that work for Axminster have been, not only at the show but also when I go and visit them to discuss new path product ideas or whatever it might be. You know, it's just absolutely brilliant, and for me it's making my the latter part of my life absolutely brilliant. So I'm really grateful to them. And I'll tell you this as well, and there will be people at the recent Harrogate show who will back this up. I won't give you their names, but Axminster customer services are second to none. And one gentleman had quite a serious problem, and because of some health issues that he had, and Axminster stepped in and said, look, don't worry about this, that or the other, we'll make a special arrangement for you to have whatever the product was, and so on. So they will go that extra mile. And once again, I'm really grateful to them all for being so kind to me. Well, that's the end of this workshop notes video. I am hoping to be able to do that new Festool workbench, the portable workbench, the one that's got the wheels at the back. Hoping to get hold of one on loan in the next couple of weeks, and I'll do a quick video about that. A friend of mine's got one already. I've looked at it, I really like it, but not something that I can justify at the moment, but I'll certainly show you what it's like. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.